Yo, 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 yo.
Yeah, I can talk about it, and then
talk about it. And
part of that too is that tying
We
it.
ended up
We ended up using
even
observable
to
even
figure
to
out some of
figure out some of
the
the
code, and
chopping
then like brought
code
it back
and
into
then
the
like brought
command
it
line.
back into the command
So
line.
I'll show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah, right.
And I'm
And
excited to have Alex here to talk about
his workflow and
observable pre-render, which is
which is
a
like
direct tie between
the
command line and
observable.
observable. So yeah, what did we do?
What did we do? We
basically got all of the
all of the
commits from like the
commits
git
from like the
log
git log
from
all of the
D3
D3
modules
and
the
the
D3
repository itself.
So
So
there's like
we ended up with like 6,000
of
of these
these
commits.
we did
We
a
did a
very
very
basic
basic
visualization where each dot is a commit, and I think each line was a module,
and
and then the colors were
were
different
different
authors.
authors.
So
So
let me go down because we ended up writing. This is I think this is the git
or
the command line command we used for Git
to like
generate the data,
which gave us like a text
file
for
a single
repo.
and we came up with a knife separated value format,
which,
I'm particularly proud
of.
right?
Right?
Using
Using
emojis to like
emojis to like
delimitate
your data.
yeah, and made a new file format. It's admittedly not
that hard,
but like
it's pretty
it's
cool.
pretty cool that you can do that.
And
I
highly
encourage
everyone else to make
emoji-based file formats. Was it yours, Alex, or was it How on Earth It Is?
My idea was to have like two pipes, which was something. I think it was Knife or Hell on Earth or someone else. Yeah.
Oh no! You know but How on Earth Is suggested like a weird emoji, like a vomit emoji. Yeah. It evolved. Yeah, evolved with the team, I'd say, and it was cool. Yeah, we ended up writing these several simple JavaScript, like node scripts that we could run in sequence. And then let's see, do I even have my turn. Look, check it out. I made my font so big. So we set up my iTerm on the stream too, I believe, right? Oh, I see that it's cut off a little bit. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So I think I might like what was it? Nice. No, it was in D3 though. That's where we I had all the modules and like the data. See the knife CSVs. Yeah, so I want to mention that briefly. Basically, recently we put together this like D3 community website, and there's like a group of people who've been contributing to the community for a long time, trying to do a more like centralized push to improve things about the community, right? So like whether it's organizing information and tutorial, like there's so thousands of tutorials and blocks and stuff, but we're also doing stuff like throwing this parade where it's gonna be like it's kind of like a database contest, but the emphasis is not really on the contest part. Like the prizes are cool. They're books, that people would probably like. Front end master subscription for a year to like learn code, but like really it's about celebrating the 10 years, and we put together this data set. So the one that we did on the stream, Get History, is one of those data sets that people can use to try to like come up with a visualization for that. There's also I've prepared a bunch of blocks from Block Builder search. So like basically we indexed over the years in Block Builder like a lot of the examples people have made. It's still a struggle because the Elasticsearch thing I kept using keeps falling down, and so the search just doesn't work anymore. Because every time I make it work, and it falls over a week later. But all the data is like is backed up, and it is parsed out into several different files that make it a little more manageable. Like so, it's not. Like the full thing is like 100 something megabytes, right? So you don't want to just download that to your browser and use the front end to like sort through that. But anyway, so yeah, we have these different data sets for the parade, and it was cool that we got to like make one on the stream and do that work, which is like the necessary pre-work for making a visualization. Yeah, I was gonna do this anyway, so like I'm glad we got to do it on the stream. And I got iTerm working, and I learned some. We exchanged some Vim pro tips, and
yeah, I used to do Vim. I used to do all the crazy terminal stuff. But now I just like VS Code mainly. One like cool little terminal thing I got into was like I found this like colors library that like changes the colors of your terminal. So I do that when I'm doing like working on multiple things. So like, oh yeah, this terminal is for like the server that's running. This terminal is for like the Git stuff or whatever. It's like the coolest terminal stuff that I've done recently. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think. Well, let's see. Because one of the things I would like to know is like, so, Alex, I think I don't know if you were there for the part where somewhere here, like I loaded the file attachment with, or like I took one of our raw data files, uploaded it to Observable as a file attachment, split it up, and then like wrote some JavaScript to make this data structure out of it. And this code was iterated on a bit, right? Like this is how it ended up. And that was the nice part of using Observable. However, once I did this, I had to like pull these code, like these lines into a Node script, copy paste them out, right? And there's some sense, like I've heard some people talk about doing stuff like where you could just run the observable with observable pre-render, and like if the we've done that with your help to generate images, but like is it possible to get the file, like the text value of a cell out of pre-render?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I also just did some recent changes to Observable Pre-Render. I added new features, and this is actually one of them. So being able to like get a cell value as text or as JSON or whatever, and then like save that in. I also added a few like fancy things like printing the STT out and like some other stuff. So yeah, it's definitely possible. We could try that out. So like we could load in a notebook, inject our own data, I guess, or whatever. But still like grab the contents of some text of like some cell and then like bring it into command line. So yeah, definitely possible.
That's so cool. I feel like every time we want to do something, they come up and they're like, yes. Observable Pre-render can do that, and it's better than we expected. Amazing.
Yeah. I would also say that like if you want to do outside of observable pre-render, like because with observable pre-render, it like launches an entire new like Chrome browser to like render code, which is maybe you don't really care, but like that's one thing to consider. So you might be able to just like run it fully on Node, because I know like observable like exports the code as like some JS ES module you can maybe use. So we could explore that as well, but like this could also yeah. Not easily, not with observable render at least. It's like pretty tight coupled with like PUBG itself. But like I don't think my intuition says that it's probably not difficult to like run Node directly on like an exported observable notebook code, but I might be wrong on that. So yeah. Because at the very least, like a lot of observable and probably like what your notebook has, it depends on like browser technology, like fetch and file attachments, and there's a lot of places where observable like assumes that it's running in a browser. So I guess that's like one thing to consider, but yeah. We could try that out. It would involve like kind of digging into the code base of like the exported, notebook and seeing if we could like run these in like a Node environment. So yeah, we could try that out. We could do observable pre-render as well, but like you have to like keep in mind it's like launching a Chrome browser. It might be a little bit slow or whatever. So yeah, whichever way works, I guess. I would say observable pre-render would be faster because like I'm pretty certain that like would work even if it's like a little bit slower. But yeah.
I'm inclined to say let's try the pre-render version, because there's some, even if it's a little slower to run, like the thing that excites me about this is that like it would fit our workflow so well. Like had we like incorporated that, or in a more like, I mean, this project was pretty tightly scoped. It was nice that like, there's 30 modules. We ran it on all 30 modules. It's like not that big of a thing. And it didn't change really, right? Like, I mean, it could change. Like you could imagine like more commits get added to D3 over time. But like, I think where this would really shine is like in a real world situation where the processing in the notebook is a lot more complex. And it's something that you want to like pay close attention to. Like, I think that anytime that you like know how things are gonna be, then like you probably don't want to maintain it in a notebook necessarily. You want to like put it in Git and like have it as a script that's versioned. And I mean, notebooks are versioned too, but there's a lot of stuff where you're like, I mean, anything scraping, anything like that, where it's like you kind of want to see what your logic's doing, and you want to be able to like point it at any given thing and see what happens. But then you want to do it to a lot of things. Like this is perfect for that, because you would like make your notebook, it would do everything, and it does it well for that one.
That's exactly
it.
That's the model, and I think that's the zoom in and out that is like crucial to our process, right? Is like you in observable, you solve it for you like get the schema right. You make one node appear, you like sort of get that working, and then you run it a million times. You know what I mean on the node side, and I think like finding the way to easily link those things, because the other thing is like if I have my node script to do it a million times, what if the schema changes, right? I want to go to my observable notebook and like make that schema change and like flip some switches and then rerun it a million times and have that automatically pull together. Like those are the two parts of the project, the observable notebook and then the script, right?
Absolutely. So one thing we could do is like, since we already know this works the old way, we could just like maybe fork this notebook, strip it back down to the processing part, try to make observable pre-render, do the thing where it's like, okay, we have the raw files, we're gonna like overwrite the file, get out the value of the processed one and save that as like, and then compare it to our,
I love that idea. Stuff. Can I say yes, and can we try running it on another repo that isn't D3? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
just to make
yeah.
sure that it works someplace else, and also like have some more fun data to play with. Like I don't know, we can sort of think about, or maybe people in the chat can suggest like another repo to look at, or that might be in the D3 universe, or maybe we do it on observable pre-render, or you know, what I mean, find some other thing to explore with that same methodology, right?
Yeah. Let's call it get history day. All right, and I'm just gonna like delete. Well, yeah, I'm gonna delete this kind of thing. Because this is all like based on the final thing being there. The scripts will probably change that.
The other thing I didn't want to
All right.
suggest it. I didn't want to be out of place, but I was gonna say maybe we build back up instead of tear this down. You know what I mean? Just
Oh,
throwing it out there.
interesting.
I don't feel strongly one way or another.
Well, I've already tore it down.
Okay. Sorry, I got distracted, and now my feedback is much too late.
Actually, let me just publish this and share it. I think that would, you know, I get you. All right. So the thing was, right, like, I mean, let's start from the beginning. So like, I'm gonna
Hit us with that recap.
get
Hit
the
us
raw
on
data.
previously on Coding with Fire.
Yeah, and maybe, all right, I need another repo to do this in. So, what repo should I use?
I didn't.
Wait,
Topo JSON? Does that fall within the D3 world, or like? Yeah, I mean,
Vega or Vega Lite, maybe.
that's a good idea. Yeah, something big and like many contribute, like as many contributors as possible. Yeah, what's the biggest repo? Can we run it on Linux?
I'm sure we could. I kind
I
of
want to go.
look, this is a lot of
I want to go big.
contributors. You want to go
Yeah,
bigger?
please. Yes, please.
You want to go Node?
Yes,
itself?
Node. That's a fun idea. I like that.
Oops.
That's good. Get metadata on the meta. Does it say how many contributors?
3,000?
That's perfect. That seems like it's just reasonable. What, they got a couple million, 100,000 commits? Couple 100,000, right?
Yeah, so let's see. I guess I'll just clone it in my CDBF folder.
To be honest, that's cloning much faster than I thought it would.
So I just found I did some Stack Overflowing, and there's a command you can run to find all the total number of commits across all branches. So I'm pretty curious about what that number is. Because we're making a JSON object for every commit, so we're talking what, you know, it's a couple dozen bytes per commit, right?
But I don't know how it does. I actually don't remember if like our command does anything but master though.
That's true. So we just want master.
Just find that. We'll find out.
Okay, so it's
We'll find out the difference. So I'm gonna run your
all right.
command.
I have a new one that's based on master. If we want to be fancy.
64,000.
That's totally manageable. That's just normal data. That's some everyday data right there.
Yeah. 33,000 on
Totally
master.
reasonable.
All right, and then if we want to do our command.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting the sense that we didn't go big enough.
Well, we're here. Let's go bigger if we
All
need
right.
to. It did take a second to
Oh, you're right.
download,
No, it
right?
did take
So-
forever to download. Yeah, that's HTTP is really messing, like, that's what we figured out last time is like, damn, we got so much data processing done in this hour, and it's because we like ran it on our computers, which are really fast and not over the internet.
All right. So
So you're making our like baseline CSV, which is going to be like what, like a gig?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be probably around whatever the 33,000.
All right, place your bets in chat, over under on this side. That's our new show feature, where we guess the size of the file that we're generating. I'm gonna go with 1 gigabyte. I bet it's smaller though. That feels,
I'm gonna go with like 100
yeah.
minutes.
Don't you just prices
Okay,
right at me?
forever.
I don't really enjoy that.
Price
say-
is video.
Went low to.
I'm gonna say like 300 bytes.
Alright.
Also, one thing of the observable file attachment limit. So, but we can work around.
Yeah.
You know.
Mine's like.
Well,
Go ahead.
I have a question about that. If we're running the node thing, we're running pre-render. It doesn't actually attach the file, does it?
It doesn't. Yeah. So with observable pre-render, if we like redefine with our own data, yeah, we can do however much we want. I'm sure there's some upper limit, but like we'll
Let's
see if we
in our pattern, observable only ever sees 1, right? So we take a sampling, right? We split off 1 row of our CSV, and that's what observable knows about, and then the node script worries about the 64,000izing of it.
Yeah.
This is actually almost then like an even better feature of doing it this way is that we're like by doing this you can process bigger files than you would be able to just in the browser.
Yeah.
So that's
Speaking
pretty
of
cool.
which, while we're waiting for things to process, I've been working with, I got the Distributed Denial of Secrets, who's like a leaktivism organization, had a repo of all of the Donald.win posts, which were like these pro-Trump right-wing forums that got banned from Reddit because they were so like incendiary. And it's like basically like almost 2 million posts on these forums of like in the lead up to the, and I basically took this and put it into like a graph database where everybody who posted or replied to each other is tied together. And this is something like I was trying to explore it, and it was just so much stuff. Like I don't know if you guys have ever played with Gephi, but like it's like a Java based tool where you can put in like millions of nodes and links, and it sort of like lets you play out the force layout aspect of it. But that's like a real world scenario where I would want to do processing over each node and like design it in observable, but then run it on 1.8 million posts. You know what I mean? Which is like, so like I would run it over, like a lot of the stuff I would like get it ready and then run it overnight. Like it reminded me of like coding back in the day, like waiting for things to render. You know what I mean?
Nice. It finished. I decided that I was going to do a slightly smaller one while we waited, but then it finished.
Nice.
So it is 36 megabytes.
Well, all of us lose.
Oh, now I got to type the night.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah, well, it seemed
Cool.
so. What like? Well, I think we could jump straight into observable pre. Well, there's two things, right? Like, chances are, if it took a while, it'll take pre-render a while. I kind of want to be able to test our flow without it taking without it being uncertain.
I agree. We should
right. So
go small and then go big.
Yeah. So either, let me see. The Vega Lite one is only 5 megabytes.
All right.
So that's one that we could like. Maybe we should do this one first, what it does, and then like.
I'm into it. I also like. I think like it's good to jump around the 3 repos because it'll be good to explore what it's like, and all. You know what I mean? Like not just on D3, because I am curious to like make this something that's reusable that we can keep doing stuff with.
It is, yeah. I mean, it'd be really interesting because then we can make whatever visualization also would be an interesting thing that you could do to any repo if you
That's
did
true.
it.
Yeah,
So,
I like that.
all
It's
right.
so sorry. That's a really cool idea to automate it all the way to the end, right? Because like my mind immediately goes to like, all right, you have like a player observable notebook, which like takes the output of the like simplified and minified final data from the script and like plays it as like some cool visualizations, right?
Right. So, Alex, how do we get started if I want to take this notebook and it has, let me open the file attachments. I'm going to delete this one so it's not confusing. But it has this file. And then we want to get the commits out of it as JSON and like save that to a file.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can start with downloading the latest version of Observable Pre-Render. I made some changes like a few
Sweet.
days ago. So if you don't have that yet, I will paste the install link, and this will be for the latest version. So like the very the typical
Awesome.
point of the pre-render.
You know,
Download, and then we can try before we even like redefine or attach new file attachments or anything. We can just run it on like the base notebook, see if it like if we get the right commits as JSON or whatever, and then we could try like redefining and like changing the file attachments and everything.
sweet.
So so we could try that out, and then I could also go over some of the newer fancy features.
Yeah.
Observable.
I mean, what? Yeah. What do you got going on?
Yeah. So a couple different things. Actually, I'll do it. Okay. So we have, I guess first off, so observable pre-render. I guess like one nice, like complete, or I guess kind of necessary development thing for observable pre-render. So instead of having to type out observable pre-render for the CLI, you can now just type out OP.
Nice.
So that's like
Classy.
That's like 20%.
That's pretty
faster,
dope, man.
So like OP for observable pre-render and OP-animate, I think, for the animation CLI tool. And then there's also OP benchmark, which we could talk about later. That's a new feature for like if you want to see see how long each cell in your notebook takes to load. It's kind of like for performance
cool.
reasons. So like, okay, so the data cell took 1 second and the visualization took that kind of thing. But we can go over
That sounds
later.
awesome.
But I think also like with the base observable pre-render tool, adding like new format features for like JSON and text, which will be useful today. I also like added the ability to like print to STD out. So before it was only able to like save something to a file. So now if you could like just do it STD
That's what I'm
out,
talking
like,
about.
that's like way.
Because that's the real secret sauce, right? Like, because that opens the world to 1,000 million other different applications of ways that we can slice it. That's super exciting.
I think also like with the different formatting, file format like outputs, just like it fits way better into like other tools that are out there, like being able to like read and export JSON and like a bunch of other things. It just fits into like the terminal ecosystem very well now.
That's awesome.
And there's still like more that we could do, but yeah.
Congratulations. That's great work.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so excited to use it. I'm really stoked. That sounds like you added a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Hope it works. But,
yeah, I don't want to jinx it. Yeah, I'm sure it'll break at some point. It'll be fun.
Yeah, should be fun. But if we want to try with this specific notebook, so like what we're doing is with the get history notebook, we're getting the commit cell, and we want to like export that to like a JSON. So for that, I could paste the command in the chat of what I think how this would work.
Love it.
I lost the chat.
Please do.
Yeah, but it should be something to the line of like observable pre-render, and then the name of the notebook, like the ID, like @codingwithfire, and then the title of the notebook, followed by the cell name, which is commits. Just paste it in the chat if you want to take a look at that. And then we specifically want it in JSON. And by default, this will create a new file called commits.json, which commits being the name of the cell and JSON like the file format. And it should have the contents of like of how it exactly appears in observable in that file. So now if you want to like open up that file or like take a look at it, it should have
Heyo.
yeah, cool.
That's sick.
That looks like it. This is exactly what
Yeah,
we
that's
wanted.
awesome.
Okay. Very cool.
And I guess like if you want to see it in std out, if you pass dash out or dash o for output, and then just a single dash, that's assigned to like print it out to std out, which is something I learned. Dash out is like some old school like, oh, for a command line tool, if you want to print to std out or read from std in, that's like the signal to do that, I guess.
Interesting.
So that was like fun to learn.
That's really cool.
But yeah, cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. I just tweeted that we were doing this and people seem to have joined, so I'm going to repaste the command we're doing. And I'm going to repaste the notebook. And then we are basically set up to take this notebook and swap out the demo file with the data that we have and want to use. So I guess that's something that we can do here too, and it's part of the command. Is that right?
Yeah. So so now we want to redefine. Do we want to redefine a cell or redefine a file attachment? Because that's like two separate features that we have. So if we take a look at the notebook itself, just to like see like what the input data is.
Yeah. So it's text. It's the text of the file. So
Okay,
we could.
cool.
I'm not sure which one's better to do.
Yeah, I think. I mean, knowing how observable pre-render is built, redefining file attachments is like much riskier and it's kind of more annoying, to be honest. But I think this is perfect here because like having a cell called text and being able to redefine that cell is much easier than like redefining the file attachment itself. So what we can do is, so observable pre-render has, the CLI at least, has a dash redefine dash file. And then you pass in the name of the cell, which is txt, a colon, and then the path to the file that we want to inject with. So in this case, it would be Vega knife CSV.
I really need to.
Whoever made this file format is an idiot. It takes a million years to type every time.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Who invented this?
I really need to get this shortcut going. All right, so do you think this will do it? Because it's in this directory.
I sure hope so. Yeah.
All right, and can I change the name of the output file?
Yeah, you can do dash O, and then the name of like whatever .json.
All right, fingers crossed. We got a JSON file that's 6 megabytes.
Lovely.
That did not take long at all.
No, computers are fast. That's what I'm saying.
And it looks like, at first glance, that is.
Put it
like,
in JSON FUI. Did you get JSON FUI yet? It's the best. Brew install JSON FUI. FUI.
There's also visit data. That's a fancy.
What's it? All right, sorry. Yeah, let's do whatever Alex said.
What is it?
Visit data. I think. Let me get the exact name. But visit data. It's like a. It's kind of like Vim for data.
Ooh, fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds. I'm in. Yeah. I'm sold.
Yeah, it does. Let me drop it in the chat. It's good for like a lot of different file formats. So SQLite, CSVs. It also does JSON pretty well. I think there's a brew install command. Let me see if I can find that.
Ooh.
Also, I think I'm gonna fork.
It does
the
maps?
original notebook we did.
What is this? This is so good. I'm like really happy about this. This is really cool. So I can write code to make charts, and then the charts will update in the command line, and I can just finally be the hacker of my dreams.
That's the goal.
I'm just trying to make
All
the
right.
14-year-old me proud.
He's already proud.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but like I need the full terminal. You know what I mean? Like, have you actually? I've been using the terminal Spotify controller, which like has the playlist up and like your progress in the current song, and it's just gratuitous. There's
dope.
no reason
Yeah.
for that except to have your screen look cool, but it works at that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, there's a Unix porn subreddit of like people who post like very cool, their setups and colors and
Really?
all different
Should I
flavors. It's
should I
pretty cool.
type the
Yeah.
words Unix porn into the internet? Do you
Oh
know if that's a
boy.
safe thing to do? Unixporn.reddit.com. That's how subreddits work, right?
Let me double check on that for you before
No,
you
I did it. No,
flag
I
it.
did it. I don't give a fuck, bro. We're going live. Oh yeah, this rules. This is perfect. Yeah, this is exactly the vibes of our. What season are we? Is this season 3? You guys know because you can see the title.
Still season 2.
It's the vibes of season 2. The second half of season 2. So did you get JSON Fui? Because it's my favorite thing.
I think it's still installing,
Fucking
or
homebrew.
Visitata is still installing, but I am, as you guys are talking about that, I'm also making sure just to copy the commands that we
That's what makes you a professional.
use.
Of all the skills we teach.
Oh, after Brew updated, it couldn't find
well,
it.
I don't care anymore.
Did you spell? Can you spell it?
It's
Jason?
spelled correctly. You probably have to tap something before you get it. Oh, it's npm. Sorry, it's npm. It's not brew. I'm a terrible friend. Here you go. npm install g JSON Fui. We'll get it in mere seconds and not minutes. But anyway, the copying out of the commands you run, again, is what makes you a professional. Like, if anybody watches this stream for advice, like, that's the small detail that you're like, oh, yeah, no, whatever. But, like, yeah, no, actually do. That's, like, the thing I don't do and frustrates me and makes me bad.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely like one drawback of like using the command line all the time. Like it's very easy to forget like what commands you ran. But
But then there's
yeah,
tools,
different
but then you build tools around searching your history, and you just like grep whatever's in your memory. Like there's like decades of people already solving this. That's what's so fun is you just kind of like dive into rabbit holes of like, oh, you can, like this shit that Ian does
Yeah.
of like hitting history and grepping like the thing that might be in there. Like that's how my brain works,
Yeah.
I love doing that. Actually, you do like history, grep, op.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. So okay, I have new things installed. I have. Oh no, Visitata is still installing. I think JSON Fui installed quicker.
Yeah.
I'm here, so I should.
You have
go
to pipe
JSON
it. Now you have
Fui
to pipe into it. I'm pretty sure. I might just be leading you astray again. Why does anybody listen to anything I say? Yeah, that's what I think. So yeah, exactly. So if you get it. Pretty fun.
hit enter.
Yeah.
So if I escape, I go back. Oh, interesting.
So it's just a fun, easy way to.
This is pretty
Right?
cool. This makes this brings me back to like middle school.
Yeah, right? It just feels good.
Like it's got this kind of like DOS color scheme going.
But the reason I like it is because if you're working with a huge data like VS Code or you know what I mean, will fucking crash if you know what I mean at some point. So like I'll just export in JSON Fui like if it's a data set where I haven't trimmed it down yet. Like it comes in raw. A lot of times you'll get like these objects with like 52 properties that like have tons of stuff in them and you just don't know what's in it. So like JSON Fui is nice to like explore like get a sense of what that data is. You know what I mean? Especially if it's not like ND-JSON where it's like really easy to just like chop a line off and be like, all right, this is one of it. You know what I mean? With JSON, you don't know like how the fuck do you chop it?
All right, and then Alex, do you know how I can use the visit data thing?
Yeah, so it'll be VD and then the path to the file.
I'm really excited for this.
So now you could use it like Vim, like the Vim keybinds. So J and K to go up and down, H and L to go left and right. And yeah, it's really
This
good
is
tabular
sick.
data. It's not as great. It's like a nested
This
JSON.
is so cool.
Yeah, and I think it's Q to go back up and like the
cute.
yeah.
This is freaking awesome.
If you hover over the author column, for example, and then you do I think Shift F, it'll like filter it out and it'll build like a little histogram.
No way.
This is so cool. That's really awesome.
It's pretty dope.
Damn, this might. Yeah, Alex bringing the freaking knowledge
For real.
today, man.
Yeah, shout out to Jeremy Singer's somewhat BuzzFeed data person. He's the person who like loves this tool and like always talks about it. He's the one that I learned it from, so pretty dope.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's like you brought us like a really fine truffle. Like this is like extraordinarily cool.
Yeah.
Is there any way?
All right. So,
sorry, can we? I want to. Can you? Are there any other like visualizations that you can do in it? Because this histogram, yeah.
Like visit data? There might be, but like to be honest, it gets a little bit complex the deeper and deeper you go, just like them. And I haven't like delved
That's
down.
Cool.
As
I just
much.
wanted to ask.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a ton of things
For
you
sure.
can do with it. And you could probably also like do plugins and like other like cool vizzes on top of it. But yeah.
Well, so all right, so our JSON looks good. It looks full of authors and commit text and stuff.
Yeah, so this is exactly what we want it to be. So we're happy there. All right, so where are we at? Let me see. While that was installing, I was taking note of some of the things here. And then I also, in our notebook that we ran, right? Then here, I forked this, and what I want to do is kind of just delete. I'm going to delete all these cells. Actually, you can use Vim key binding. Oh, that goes really fast.
Oh, that's right. You can use like the observable key bindings to move stuff around, right?
Yeah, how do you delete?
X.
No, X is how you select, actually.
Who made that?
Well, that's... No, that isn't like a Vim thing. Delete cells. D. Okay, that's like Vim.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. So now this notebook is just the visualization. So, wait, why is this as a CSV? This could be a JSON file. I'm going to try to upload. So the funny thing is we could make an observable pre-render command that makes this PNG for us as well.
I like that.
But I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. I think I want to upload the Vega Lite one.
Do we have like a Git history directory of all this stuff? Because like we should have like a package JSON where we just put these. Yeah, I mean, so like npm run image or whatever screen, graph gets you the graph, and like you could just have all the things that you're making in the notebook as npm scripts? ?
We're not that organized yet. Okay. We've just been
just throwing it out there.
Yeah, we should definitely, I would say, like, that's like writing our recipe book once we've gotten
That's
it all.
That's like cleaning the kitchen, let's be honest. That's like doing the dishes. We don't want to do it.
Maybe we don't want to do the dishes on TV.
All right, valid.
But it is like, I started dot JSON. Whoa. Okay, there's one repo, so that makes this kind of
Oh, word.
like less well, but like I think what we'll do is the Y scale is actually based on the repo keys, but I think we'll do author keys as
Nice.
well.
That's a smart way to flip it. I like that idea.
But it didn't.
Oh well.
Let's see. Author keys is this big array.
I also just spitballing. I would love like a cumulative stream graph visualization, so you could watch it build, or even like a tree that grows or something like that. One day.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
let's say this is. I think this needs to be an author array. Okay, so it's still not quite.
Should,
Oh, this is supposed to be d.author.
should I be able to see you editing?
Whoa.
Whoa, that is sick. It looks like a lot of people got
So-
burnt out. That's what I'm reading on this graph. Is that wrong? Is that the incorrect way to read this? Because it seems like a lot of people went really intense and then stopped forever, and that's a really common thing.
No, I think it might be the opposite. Well, okay, this person did really intense and then they haven't done anything.
Wait, what's our x-axis?
These two
Does time go from left to right?
X-axis is time. The Y-axis is
But
author.
but right is current and left is past, right? Yeah,
Yes.
so a bunch of people like did a little bit of work and then never did it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's burnout. That probably means that they did like a commit, right? Like they came by, drive by, sort of fixed a thing.
But there's a bunch of people who like do a little bit, and then do a whole bunch and stop. I'm not crazy, right?
Is it like sorted based on the end date or something?
I don't know how it's sorted. It does no, it's not really sorted because like this person did a lot and then they haven't done anything in a long time. Like these two, the blue and the green on top, have always done a lot, and it looks like this orange person joined in and did a ton and still doing it. Whereas like, yeah, all these like one-off along this line are just like a person doing one thing, or like someone came in and did like a few things for a little bit, or like here. So yeah, like I think this immediately tells us that this would be interesting to make a better chart. Like something that could answer more of these questions,
Totally.
right? Like,
Well,
but that it is something that you want to.
We're heading on. We got like 8 minutes until an hour. Probably gonna take like a 5-minute break in a few minutes. Do you want to maybe what do you want to do when we come back? Do you want to work on the visualization side? Do you want to chop some more data? Do you like you were playing with? Did you ever end up using CSV Kit for the stuff that you're trying to do? Because that's another cool way to play with data. You know, we could.
I didn't. I ended up I wanted to remove some columns from a thing. The visit data thing would have helped me a lot in what I was doing the other day when I messaged you about command line stuff.
Sorry, you should have messaged Alex.
Yeah, yeah, apparently. And yeah, so let me think. Well, I don't know. I think like we had if we had another pre-render command that ran this notebook like right after this one, and it switched out the JSON and like this combined thing, right? Like
we need our package JSON. We need our new folder that wraps up our the.
Well, at this point, it's like it's not even a package. It's just like these series of commands to do everything that we've done.
So Makefile.
Ooh.
Yeah, like to make a script that's like visualize my repo, I guess.
Yeah, Makefile exclusive. Can we MPX observable pre-render?
Yes.
you could, right?
right? Because then it should
Yeah, I haven't tried this
then it should be able to run anywhere theoretically, because it's just Node and npm and Git.
It's, so just like a make file that like combines all the steps into like a one script. So that way we can like, run like parameterized whatever.
Exactly right. Or I'm also open to the idea that that's a boring way to hang out, and that we should make visualizations. I'm just I'm just reading the tea leaves of what's going on and trying to figure out what we should do when we come back from our break.
Let's see. I feel that the main thing we're missing, and maybe we can do that in the next 5 minutes. I'm almost confident, like almost sure, because Alex is here. Is just is write the command to like get that PNG, like to get this.
All right, let's do it.
Like from, so that you could essentially go through these steps. And then like how we package it up, how we clean up, we can figure out later. And I think coming back from the break, we would do something else, or like visualize, or throw this at, like we haven't done the node one. We could run this all through for the node one, see what
I really want to make a stream graph. I think like especially cumulative, like what this shows is like slices in time, but that's not how projects are or feel. You know what I mean? Like it feels like everybody's contributing to a big thing and people come in and out, and I think like that would be, I think a stream graph visualization would be a better way to sort of think about this. And I also want to see what that looks like for some of these. So maybe if you guys are open to it, maybe we tackle that for a little bit.
That sounds really good. I like the idea of like a more viz, now that we have some quality ingredients.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Let's get to the fun part. You know what I mean? Because stream graphs are pretty fun.
All right. So last thing, Alex, how do we do this? And
Let's do it.
It's gonna start with OP. I'm gonna.
I got that part.
Like always.
Notebook. And let's see. Republish this. All right. So OP, this notebook. Then what do I want to do?
And then the name of the cell or the chart that we want to work with. Yeah, so chart
is chart.
And then is it what are we trying to redefine? Like, are we trying to redefine a cell or?
We could, yeah. So right now the file attachment is a JSON file, and I'm getting the JSON of it.
Okay, yeah. So we can do. So we can do redefine file again. And then it'll be the name of the cell, or the name of the cell that we want to redefine, which is combined.
Yeah, I'm gonna rename that to commits now, though. And then
I read a really Tom McWright had a really good blog post on variable naming recently that I read, and has been like sticking in my brain every time I name variables now.
All right, I would like to read that because
He was basically like, he had a whole, he was like, all right, so your function's name process data. Like, what does that mean? Like, what data are you processing? How are you processing it, right? Like, are you parsing a CSV row? You know what I mean? Like, is that what you really mean?
So do you think this?
So one thing that we have to do is that we have to tell observable pre-render that we want to load the Vega Lite file as a JSON object. So after commits, do like commits : JSON, and then : file name. And I believe this should work. So it'll be loading in the notebook. It'll be redefining the commit cell as JSON of the whatever the contents is inside that file. Oh, and so is it chart is an SVG, right?
It's a canvas.
Oh, okay, so we could just do then we could save it as a PNG, so -f PNG or JPEG, or we could just do like -out and then the name of the file. But so now this should create
awesome.
chart.png with.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Did it redefine? Yeah. Or.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, run it in another repo.
I need to
take us to Node or whatever.
It's the same data. So we need to do node. So we got to run our old command on node and then test it with this. But finally though, I want to like, I can do, what was the thing to rename the output file? Was it minus o vega light.png like that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. I just want to like, all right. I'm starting to see the wisdom of the make file idea,
Just
EJ,
throwing it
because
out
then
there.
you would just like, well, yeah, like this, like everywhere it says Vega Light, we want it to say
Can we
node
go a step
instead.
further, which is can the make file just call the observable notebook and then run the string of your make file cell? Let's really bridge the gap. I want to blur the lines of where we're working. Are we working in observable or are we working in the command line? We don't know. It doesn't matter. It's all available everywhere.
I'm curious how long this will take. I assume that JSON will be a bit bigger, right? That's not bad. All right, 38 megabytes. VD node.json. Look at that. All right. Oops, Shift F.
This is
Look
so
at that. We have
fun.
several people with thousands of
That's dope.
commits. That's gonna be cool. And then the other command was
Now,
this
sorry.
one.
Now I want to scrape their GitHub profiles and I want to get their location and I want to map them, right?
And this is really cool. So this is the cool, probably the coolest part, is because with the node one, that doesn't fit in the file attachment limit.
Yeah.
But we are now able to, if all is well, look at that.
Ooh,
Whoa!
Wow.
damn.
That's awesome. Can you full screen that? Because I think it's 12:01 now. I think that's a perfect place to leave it. Of like, this is our data now. Like, this is our draft visualization. And I think when we come back from the break, we're gonna take a stab at making like a stream graph version of this same type of data. And I'm excited for that part of it. This is the fun part where we get to like play around.
Yeah.
And you've done stream graph stuff before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
I
the
mean, should
what
be.
is D3 layout or what?
Yeah, we'll pull up some examples and like adapt it. I think it'll be pretty cool.
Awesome. So I guess we'll do like a 5-minute, 10-minute break. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do 10
All right.
minutes.
So we'll be back at like 12 Eastern time. I love that. That's delightful to me. See you guys later. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
See y'all soon.
We're back. It's Coding with Fire. We got Alex joining us, a special guest, and we're focusing on like command line visualization, and particularly we are exploring this data set, or I guess this way of analyzing the Git history of different repos. And first we did it on D3 and all of its submodules for the D3 parade that Ying was doing. And then we tried running it on some other things, like I think the one that we did that was the biggest so far was Node. Is that right?
Yeah, this one is Vega Lite, and then the one I have open here is Nodes commit,
Yeah.
which is like that. Many people with thousands of commits. It's like a 30, 40 megabyte file, which is too big for the file attachment limit on the browser. And so it's been really exciting to be able to process and then visualize the data, like using the exact same code you can make iteratively in the browser and figure it out and observable and like run it on the command line with our local files.
Yeah.
It's like a really cool
Well, I've been really
workflow.
enjoying blurring the lines between observable and the command line. Like, I know I keep saying it, but it makes it, like, especially the stuff that you mentioned, Alex, about, like, using the standard out of, like, using observable in, like, the same workflow that you would use, like, any of these other tools is really cool and exciting to me. Like, it sort of opens a lot of possibilities about ways that we could go about things. So, like, we are sort of at a fork in the road. Like, I do have one temptation, which is, like, Node is pretty good, but I do want to run it on Linux. You know what I mean? So maybe can we start downloading that data in the background while we do other stuff, so we have like a small, medium, and super extra large version of this graph, and then while it's downloading, if you guys are still into it, I'd love to take a stab at like stream graph visualizations of a repo over time, just because like it's a visualization technique I've used before. I did a piece at NBC where like we had a bunch of tweets from Russian trolls who had been identified by this House committee. So we worked with a group that had collected like the fire hose of Twitter, tweets, and had identified these Russian bots in them. So we just pulled those out, and then we looked at the times when like they spiked and like analyzed which hashtags they were using, and we were like, oh, what are these huge spikes that are happening? And it turned out it was like the debates. You know what I mean? And you would also see like in some places we sort of split the categories between the tweets between like right leaning and left leaning, and they would do this thing where they would push a bunch of left leaning stuff and then a bunch of right leaning, like they were like coming at it from both sides like over time, and you could see that in the stream graph. So I'm curious to do if we do a stream graph on a repo of like looking for events of like big pushes and like what that might be, like if it's like anniversaries or they get sponsorships or like things change about open source or the license, like looking for those events that cause contributions to change is kind of interesting to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we can look at some more examples of really cool stream graphs. How did you find that? You just searched stream graph and observable?
Yeah.
Nice.
Shouldn't. Yeah, here's like the D official one is probably where I usually get started.
And the other difference is that I want to make it cumulative, right? Like, so every commit, it isn't just a snapshot in time. It's not like an event happening. Like, I mean, it is. That's how it comes in our data. But really, it's the adding of code. And I think we might even at some point know the amount of lines or bytes or whatever that they're adding or subtracting, which is also interesting. But, like, I want to leave that commit there in the visualization. Like, I want to see that growth over time and, like, see a person's echo. If they do, like, a whole bunch of work in the beginning, like, the stream graph will show their channel still living on, right? They, like, because the end slice is almost like a bar chart of a stacked bar chart of contributors, right? And then you're doing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would that? No, this isn't that. Like, I think I've seen. Have I seen a cumulative stream graph? I guess not.
And then my next question is, do we have to generate cumulative data first before we can do, like, or is that something we can handle on the visualization side?
I think we would. Well, my initial reaction is that we would, like, as a processing step, we would accumulate the data, and then pass that to the stream graph as if, like for every time step we want to do, it is the accumulated amount. Is my guess. Sorry. So while you were saying a lot of
Okay.
things, I was looking up doing these things. So I want to let me recenter. So we want to kind of start, maybe we would fork that, just thinking out loud what we would do. We would fork this, we'd try to turn it into a stream graph. And then there's particular things that you want to, a particular way you want to see it in a stream graph.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, again, the only thing I question is fork, right? Or should just start from a fresh notebook and pull in as required.
The reason I like forking is that, I don't know, we don't have to re-upload the thing. The main thing we're gonna change is this, right? We're gonna swap that out. So I kind of it won't be that much baggage, right? Or this.
Totally, yeah. It isn't, the notebook doesn't really do anything else besides that graph and pull in data.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of feel like, so here, the other thing is that forking is the lowest cost way to make more notebooks, and it's and
True.
we've decided
it is fun to
the history of our
spin more things out.
Yeah, that the more notebooks we make, the better.
I agree with that.
The better everything is.
That is good wisdom. Because we did do a bunch of times in the first season, we would take one notebook and just iterate within it, or overwrite ideas, and it was cool. It's nice to go back and see the whole process laid out in different notebooks. I agree with that.
Yeah, and let me do this. So this doesn't actually have a stream graph in it yet, but all right, so the thing is, right, to understand, we're kind of series to use the stream graph. And so there's probably two steps. Let's first make this the default stream graph where each commit is just one thing in the event.
Love it.
Right?
Yes.
And then let's accumulate it. So the data they have is they have dates, and then there's a key for everything. And the series, they have columns. So wait, the data has a columns thing. So in our case, it's going to be authors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is our. So yeah, this has all the columns. And then, yeah, so really, all right, so we're going to want to format our things similarly. Also, the thing is, do we want to somehow group, make it by day, right? Or by thing?
I think StreamGraph sort of handles it, because you can do all that smoothing on the visualization side and how it draws the path. You know what I mean? I think you want that granularity in the data that you give to the D3 layout.
But I think from what I'm seeing here is that I think you do need some kind of bucketing, because if the commits you have to have every author that committed something on that day and a count on that day.
Oh, interesting.
Because if you do it too granularly, you'd have single only one author would have a value across that. So I'm inclined to think that actually bidding by day would be a good place to start.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially if I was gonna follow this. All right, so I think, I would turn to the D3, the new, the old way that I and get used to over time was D3 nest, right? Where
right.
But RIP D3 nest.
Yeah.
The new way is D3 roll up and group.
Long live D3 group.
And so we probably want to do something like that, and it's I always have to look it up still, but like we know we want to pass in our commits. And the thing, we're going to want to group it, I think we want to group it twice, once by the date or by like the day of the date, right? So,
Pardon?
like, there's some time, day. Let me try this. Like, if I say time, day of this, I say new date. All right, that gives me like the 22nd. The other thing I learned when I did, or sorry, you have to actually, because Chrome, I have this time parser thing. Like Chrome correctly guesses the date from the string that the get thing gives, but like Safari and Firefox do not.
Well, we don't care about them, do we?
Oh, we have time parser. Well,
I guess I
mean,
use Safari, so I do care.
Otherwise, people are going to say, "Hey, this doesn't work." And since it's already figured out,
People say a lot of things.
So I'm going to say time parser of the date, and then d3.time day of that. So now when we group it, yeah, we get days where many people have done it. And then what we want to do, I think, is group this by d.author. And then I think I want to count instead of the array. And I think that might be a roll up. No, that is.
Yeah, it'd be a roll up. And then the first function would be like v to v.length, I think. That would get the length of every array for each group.
Ah, genius. Looks like Dependabot is going to be like a major player in this visualization.
Really?
That might be one of these. I don't know. Maybe it's the orange one. I don't think Dependabot was always.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'll see the impact of Dependabot.
Yeah, we'll learn from this visualization. Yeah. That's great. All right, so I have a map of these things. I have these. I wonder if I'm going to be able to make a series, because so I do remember that D3 in the most recent update, V6 was like made to handle. Let's see, rolled, and this is going to be author array. All right, this seemed to do something. It goes from 0 to nan, which is typically not a good thing. So I'm assuming I'm going to have to like do something about this.
Yeah, because it's like, I think it's a map within a map, so maybe it doesn't know how to like do that nested stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to want to take the rolled, let's say array that. I'm going to want to map over this, and then the thing I want to give back, I'm going to have to figure out, like, I don't want, let's see, so it's going to be D0 is the date, right? So in this one, the data, oh, sorry, it's an object. So I'm going to return an object where date is D0. So if I do this already, I just get a bunch of dates.
Okay. Love it.
And then what I want, though, no, let's see. I guess I want to go through all the authors. And then if d1.get author, or let's say value is d1.get author or 0.
Nice.
Object author equals value. Then yeah, that's what I write. So then like.
That's pretty cool.
So then this should just be able to be data.
Nicely sliced.
Ayo, I got some numbers. All right, and then
How'd you get numbers?
If I do this,
how'd you get numbers?
The series.
Oh.
So this is the layout command.
Got
pretty
it.
Much d3.
Those are
Stack,
visualization
right?
numbers.
So
Those are like path numbers. You're saying.
Yeah, these are the numbers that are gonna make our visualization. This is like the key to the visualization, the stream graph, I believe. I mean, we're gonna want some of these other things. I'm just gonna copy paste over. This is not always ideal. Yx is the all right margin. I guess I'm gonna need a margin. Copy that over too. I believe I have a color already. I'll just copy this margin. And the height is not set. Height. Yeah. All right, so it doesn't mind all those. So then the stream graph itself is a pretty small amount of code.
Some pretty serious magic.
All right, x-axis. I don't need an x-axis yet. Chart. Let's just get rid of this chart. Whoa!
I think that's perfect, bro. I think you did it.
Woo!
that's what we.
Love it. This is that D3 broke and
yeah,
made
it's pretty
art.
good. So I guess we should leave this and make a new notebook. Because this is pretty great. I want to see this with like the other ones. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole. We should. What do you think happened?
I don't know. Here, how about this? I'm gonna fork. Like you said. And we'll come back.
Yeah, it's like put it on ice. It's like our art path.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely got something wrong. I wonder if either the X or the Y scale are somehow...
yeah, how do you make series again?
Off, or something we did in the series.
Yeah, I think you need to do more in like when you make your series to tell it how wide things are. Like they need a weight of some variety for the layout, I feel like. Does that make sense?
The thing is, like this data, I don't see how it's, each of these is a very big array. One for each day, because we have 1,400 days, right?
And then all the other properties are authors with the count, right?
Oh, I think they're not sorted. Does that matter?
Yeah, well...
Because these are...
Did you make an...
Yeah,
Did
I
you
mean,
make
it
an
definitely not
area?
sorted. I did make an area. I copied that over, but like the thing is that this should do that. Like they should calculate all that. Maybe that should. All right, let me sort this real quick though. It should be return plus new date, date minus new date, a dot date. That made it a little bit less
Definitely different.
nutty, but still not really making
Well, you don't
sense,
have
right?
in
Like
your
it should.
series. You don't have your keys.
The keys are ordered by the authors,
Okay.
I
No, I see
believe.
that. So you have.
The author.
So I'm just looking through like what a series object looks like. So it has a 0 and a 1. I don't know what those are, and then it has data, which is like what that day split into
I think
authors, right?
the 0 and the 1 is the like where in the stack it should be. Yeah. Like if this was, you could also do a stacked bar chart,
Yeah, maybe that's a
which
great place to start.
like we should theoretically be able to just switch out
Yes.
um, the viz code for that. Like if I grab this, I guess it might be like a different X scale.
We can just hand
So
write it. Like we
I'll
can just
get
tune that
that.
by hand, you know.
And I'm not going to append the title. I'm not going to append the axes right now. Yeah, so we need like X bar. So X bar would be this one.
Okay. Interesting.
It's being really slow. Is that like a lot of bars?
Yeah, it loaded for me after a while. It is a lot of bars, but like in a weird way.
uh,
This is also art, I suppose. Hey, where's your color
suppose.
scale come from?
Maybe we should filter because like 1400 days is quite large, and if we have one bar for each day, then it's kind of quite a lot to fit in like 600 pixels. So maybe we could like group by week or like only look at the past year or something.
That's a great idea. Or just filter to like the top 100
Yeah.
authors or something. Like, yeah, I agree.
So right now it's, yeah, let's do that. So it's sorted to the most recent first, which probably is kind of a backwards stream graph, so we'll have to remember to fix that. But yeah, something isn't right with our, oh, wait, this shouldn't be x.data.name. This should be x.data.date. Right? Damn, the bars. We should probably also, well, okay, that's, that's
I like
something
that.
else. Let's also do your filter the authors. I want to get the authors to be like the most, still though, the authors with the most. So where's our author array? Author array is authors.keys. That's not ordered. I wonder if I do Why is it still making so many bars? So many authors. All right, so top authors would be authors dot, is it entries? Return, let's see, B1 minus A1. So then this should be sorted here. So then we take the top 20, let's say. Slice 0, 20.
It's not an array?
Oh, I put it in the wrong cell. And then I was jumping around because I keep breaking things. Okay, so then author array, I'm going to make it be top authors.map dd0. All right, so that looks cool. It's not right necessarily. All right, so what are we still doing wrong? The other thing is that the stacked layout here, it doesn't use the other options. It's also mapping over in this weird way. I don't know what that is about. Oh, it's adding a key. What is the key for? Oh, for the name? Oh, so that they can... I don't know.
I think key would be
the title. So we don't... I'm not gonna like bother that. So the thing I wonder I could do in here is if I comment these two out. I'm strongly suspecting something's wrong with the x-axis. Like
That's what I think
with the
so too.
dates is like
Yeah, something's weird.
really weird with that. All right, so okay, so that this makes it more of like a thing, but the things are like overlapping very strangely.
Yeah, that's almost like a bar chart.
Yeah, but this one is showing us that it's
that was just insane.
Looks cool, but it's
so
insane.
Where do you sort? Do you sort in the layout or in your data preparation?
I'm sorting in the data preparation. So like what we should see, I'm slicing, oh, this is weird. I should be slicing 0 to 100. So it's tweets.
Tweets?
Okay. Not tweets, commits. Like, what's up with this square?
Yeah, what's going on? Stream graphs are fun.
All right, so one thing that trips me out is that these dates are like, they look like that, and in here the dates look like this.
Yeah, those dates are so nice, so beautifully formatted. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's how the observable inspector like inspects dates, but it's inspecting in both places, so that is weird. So never mind.
Data dates, data is parsing.
It's like UTC date. That's also not our data, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking right now at this graph one, and it is using
essentially every time you use an example, you like the data in the example is perfect, and our data is not, and like there's some missing transformation in the perfectness of the source data here. I'm inclined to believe it's the date thing too.
And the other thing I should do is we should sort it the other way around and do I mean, this kind of looks more like regular. And if I want to grab the last, let's see, 1,000, 1,400, or whatever. I just don't know what's up with these.
It is very strange.
X bar.
Can we look at what one author looks like, I guess, over time?
Yeah, we could look at one author. So this is also, what if I look at like just numbers? Oh, this is why this one's weird. Okay, so.
Ooh, that seems right. Those are little bar charts.
Mm-hmm. So it was using from the bar example was using name instead of date. So if I'm doing this, this doesn't seem so terrible now that they're in order. However, like if I put back the series things here, the auto formatting thing kind of messed things up. I don't know why it's like going down like that. If I don't offset it, it'd be nice to do this chart. This would be like the by author.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But we still have a ton of authors though.
Yeah. This one always helps me like figure out so we could try expanding it. I'm just curious like so there's like days where nothing happens, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Christmases and whatnots, right?
Yeah, I'm not convinced like that we're totally off base here. I just don't know why the offset wiggle is not. I guess in most stream graph, there's like always stuff happening, right? And maybe that's what the cumulative thing would help with.
And I think we're also like we're cutting off for like the last 100 days, and we're also cutting off like the top 100 contributors. But if most of those contributors contributed a long time ago before the 100 days, then that could also be like kind of just another odd filter on top of what
that
we
makes
have.
Sense. So should we defilter?
Yeah, just try defiltering a little more. I think though. I think I want to do the cumulative thing. So like, and then I'm gonna turn off the bar chart because it's making too many elements. So I'm just gonna like comment that
We got
out.
too much going on.
Because that was slow. Because like I don't think we need to filter. So if we do this right, we get this stream graph. I'm gonna screenshot this as like, this is our top 100 folks, so it's like a little bit cleaner. I then want to accumulate. So what's the quick way? So if we have our data, we kind of want to go through.
Well, I would externalize authors, right? And then you just keep adding to authors. You got to rebuild your dates, but you just keep adding to authors, right? And just grab their value.
Yeah, so like if we say accumulated equals data dot for data dot map if I 0. So what we want a new array where like we look at the last one and add the current one. So we go through author array for each author. It's so this should take last element's author value and add the current one to it.
Great. That's perfect. Might make it big. Take a long time to run.
This is not right though. Because, all right, it starts at 0. How could it be 1 instead of 6?
Yeah, it's weird.
D should be the current one. Data I. That did not help. They are, oh, it's not sort, no, it should be sorted. Yeah, so it's definitely sorted.
But it's sorted by like
right?
giving date, the weird ass date. I swear to God, that's ruining our life. Like, it's just my, like, wouldn't that throw all the sort off?
Oh, it's not data. It's the problem is I can't look at data. I need to look at the current, like this accumulated array. So I'm doing it. I'm like, this is sort of wrong. I can't do it within a map. I need to keep around the last accumulated value instead, or I can do this like.
Yeah, it's hard for me to understand the like observable way of doing that, right? Because you can't just like make an array and then add stuff to it.
I mean, you can't, like, that's what I'm about to do. So like, so this, what I want to do is say, I want this to be like, to keep track, as I go through my data array, I want to keep track of the whatever's accumulated, and I want to like copy that into my new array every time. So the first time it runs, I'm going to run through the authors data accumulate, and there's probably like much more elegant ways to do this, but this will be data 0. accumulated values will be set to whatever it is at the first data point, right? Then I skip the first one. After that, I go through and I'm going to say this is the accum. I don't know. I want to do accum author plus equals d author, and this is going to be accum
Nice.
author. It's going to be set to that. So now the number should just go up. Yeah.
Yay!
All right. So accumulated instead of data. So our series. Hey.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
That's awesome. Just bask in the glory for a second, because this is sick. So, which one is Dependabot? Oh, can you put a title? Can you do like add or title for the author so we can get like super cheap tooltips?
Yeah, it has one. What is the key? Oh, yeah, it has that
sick.
already. Okay, and it looks like Kenneth used 2 different names. Yeah, Dependabot's actually this tiny slice. And the real hero of this story
It's
is
Canon.
yeah.
I would like Ian. Can you go ahead and pronounce that last name for us, please?
Wang Sufasawat.
Thank you.
I cannot.
You did great.
Probably do it justice.
No, I don't.
But,
I mean, I don't think.
yeah. So, but I mean, you know, props.
Yeah, super props.
Kenneth and Dominic.
And they're twice.
And
Cause nickname Ham is the second one. I guess he got a nickname.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean.
Yeah, we can go by him. All right, sweet.
Yeah, this is pretty dope.
All right, I'm gonna uncomment this bar chart for a second to see. It's basically the stream.
That's really fun, but it's inside
day-
out. That's the. I'm looking at the other D3 stack orders. Like there's a. What's the other one? Not inside out. Sorry. D3 stack order
Span.
none.
Shit.
Did they give us the new co-editing feature yet, or what? Because I'm co-editing with you, whether you like it or not.
We're not using it currently. Like the expand looks pretty cool. It's like a. Oh, what did you?
I gave it a different order, so it wouldn't have the people in the middle. So now it's more like. I don't know.
I like this. Yeah. And if I turned off expand back to wiggle, it might look better.
Yeah,
too.
I think so
If you
too.
were there. You wanna change that?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'll
Sorry.
change it.
I forgot where that was. Yeah. Yeah, see what I'm saying?
alright.
Because now it's like we got the little guys on top and we got the big whales underneath.
Yeah, and it looks like, I bet, if I hover long enough, it'll do the title thing. No?
Yeah, it did it for me. Yeah, this makes more sense because Kanit is like they're grouped together.
Yeah, he's yeah. Nice. All right, so then the way to take this full circle is to download node graph.
Yes, sir.
Now, well, okay, the other thing we can do now is we can stop filtering the top authors, right? We could just...
No, not yet. I would say the one thing I really want to do is see D3 in this method, but you're totally right that let's download the PNG, and then if we can, in 3 minutes, rerun it on a different repo.
Sorry, so you want to see D3 in this way.
Yes, please.
All right, so then, like, where's my file of D3 commits? It was like...
We gotta change your alert sound. That one's the worst one. It's like life ruiningly bad.
Was one of the I have combined JSON, so that's probably the one.
Oh, that's all the submodules together. You're saying?
Yeah. So if I do
Git stuff.
yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Then I should actually be able to just take the command that we had here.
I love this history grep hack. It's like my favorite thing.
And it's stream graph, redefine file, commit to be D3 combined. And
damn, homie's on fire. Preach, let's go.
It's got a meeting in 2 minutes.
I have a meeting in 2 minutes.
Oh, just guessing.
Those are your vibes.
So
you got places to be.
I have a meeting in 30
You got code to write.
So, hey, who could that be?
That's pretty amazing. Like
this is like that iceberg that floats thing.
Yeah, man. That's incredible. That's like testament to Bostock, man. Like thank you. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. All right, and then I can't help but see node in this way. Node screen, I guess. And this will be the top 100 contributors. But I think we could actually
yeah, let's talk through what we did this episode and sort of talk about what we're looking at now, because we have all these really awesome stream graphs, and I think that's a great place to start, is talk about the stream graphs and sort of work back to how we got here.
Yes.
So that's D3.
Wait, yeah, 1 second. Before we talk through, can I?
Yeah, totally.
I just want to see, because like I feel like nodes, or if we unfilter the top authors, so we don't slice, right?
I'm just conscious of time because we are in overtime now, and I don't want to go too far.
Yeah. Node stream all. And then what I'll do is, let me go to our directory here. Git stuff. All right, is it like, that one's taking forever because it's a lot of things. Should we just filter to the top 100, do you think, by default?
100 authors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Also, why did I do scheme spectral?
I did. I love it.
Oh, you did.
Don't touch it.
Nice.
Don't touch it.
Okay. All right. Republish you. This is still going. All right. So I think you're right. Let's go through what we've got.
Yeah, can you pull up those screenshots, and I'll hit the magic recap button.
Yes, and we never got to make our broken one.
We'll leave that as an exercise for the viewer.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring it here, and I got my screenshots ready to go. I never downloaded the Vega Lite one, but that's fine. It's the default. All right, ready?
I was born ready. Let's do it.
All right. All right, so today we had some fun blurring the lines between the command line and observable in the browser. We kind of got started with what we left off with last stream, where we had pulled together a bunch of commit data in a nice structured way, and done a basic visualization. And this was all for a D3 community initiative, the D3 Parade we're helping out. But this time we wanted to, instead of running the git command that we had run and writing a bunch of node scripts, which we had figured out how to write in Observable and copy pasted the processing out, use Observable pre-render that Alex, who's joined us here, has made, so that we could directly run the processing in the notebook on the command line. So like we figured out a series of commands where we run our git command. It generates a raw text file. We run Observable pre-render on this notebook, and replace the text file that's in the notebook with whatever the local version is that we give in the command line, right? So we run it on a different Git repo, for example, Vega Lite instead of D3. And then we even made a couple notebooks. I forgot to open this one. We took the D3 one and we made it more generic. So like this takes any repo's structured commits from that other notebook and visualizes all the author commits in this way. So this command actually will create that PNG. And so like we'll see that here.
So basically it's a whole pipeline for like any repo. You can have run these commands and you get the Git history, it formats it in the right way, and then we got a few different cool visualizations out of it, right?
Exactly. So like we have our raw knife SV, the file format we came up with last stream. We convert that to JSON with the notebook from the command line in one command. And then we generate the PNG for that with another command. And then that was all fun. And then EJ brought up the idea, I want to see a stream graph of accumulated commits over time. And so we took the data, we started with the Vega Lite, this is the top 100 authors, and visualized the stream graph, using the D3 example. Took us a bit to figure out how to, properly chop our data in the right format and get the temperature right and stuff, but we got it. And then we were able to run that as a command as well, so we could see, for example, like the D3 repo, or all the D3 modules. Like this is Mike Bostock,
right?
Carrying D3, and then, but in recent time, there's been some new contributors piling on, which is great. And
all right, can you just pull up all the stream graphs real quick, so we can just look through the three of them and sort of compare them a little bit? Because it's interesting to see the different shapes of these like different repos, right?
Yeah. And this is Node. I think this is the top 20 contributors of Node.js repo. So, of course, exported like this, we didn't do any annotations or legends or that kind of stuff, but it's pretty.
And do you have a Vega Lite stream graph? Or we didn't get that one?
It's in the browser. It's this one.
Because that one was kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool to look at.
I didn't.
Because they're all so different. Like it does seem like expressive of what the different personalities and types of applications they are. Like, so in that way, it seems like a successful visualization to me.
Yeah. And now with these commands, and I should go here and, for instance, take, I think, it was like this. Or I'll just take
I really love the blurring between like working in the command line and the observable stuff of like, it doesn't really matter, where you are. Like it's all interrelated, which is like feels much more like how my process on doing freelance work is, where like you just use whatever tool is best, and like whatever, if it's like QGIS, which is has its own ups and downs, or Gephi, or like you just pull in the right tool at the right time. And now I feel like this, knowing how to use Observable in this way, and thank you, Alex, for like teaching us all these really cool tools. Like it's just like another way to insert this into a tool belt that has been built where like everything can pipe into each other. Like we can make a make file that makes a PNG. You know what I mean? That's really cool to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us. That was a really fun session. Thanks for coming to our overtime. Ian, how do you feel? Are you happy with our stream
I
graphs?
feel great. I feel energized. Like this is we have this like sweet new pipeline. We could throw this at anything that any repo that we feel like now, and yeah,
Cool.
a command line foo keeps getting
Yeah, I think we
stronger.
have a lot of different ideas for ways that we can push this in our next episode. Do you know what's the date of our next stream? Do you know?
I believe it's 2 weeks from now.
How
So
do weeks
whatever
work?
day in
I'll
March
check.
that is.
I should if I was a good producer, I would like check before the show and whatnot. So 2 weeks from now, you say? I think that's March 15th. Does that sound right to you?
Sounds a little
Okay,
late.
March
I think
8th.
it's
Okay.
8.
All right.
8.
So we're streaming again, same time, 11 a.m. EST. I'm going to be doing more of this command line visualization stuff. So I hope you guys will continue to hang out with us. And it's been a lot of fun. I like doing it in the morning. It definitely has a different vibe to do like coffee and coding rather than like we were doing it late because Ian was on the West Coast. So it would be like 9 to midnight for me, which makes for a very different type of stream, I feel like. So this has been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the node contributors looks like this.
That's sick. That's like very organic looking. All right. Well, Coding with Fire signing off. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Thank you again, Alex and Ian, for spending time. Take it easy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.